Hi friends, Mindy here. Welcome back to another installment of my 100-day project. If you are just seeing these videos, I am participating in the 100-day project, and for mine, I am doing a memory dex card every day for 100 days. I'm trying to use my stash and keep my cards to under 15 minutes. So those are the parameters I kind of set for myself, and just trying to use up my stash and everything. So what you see me doing here is going through some scraps that I might want to use. I know it just seems like a jumbled mess of things, but I just kind of pulled out things that, were just catching my eye as I was working. And I have a card here. I've already prepared all my card bases, ahead of time. So I have this pink one. I'm just going to go ahead and basically just cover it. So I am using a Yoo-Hoo glue stick here, and I'm just going to cover all of this with some collage, and just kind of no rhyme or reason, just whatever catches my eye, trying to keep the background a little bit neutral if I can. I spent probably more time doing this than really was necessary, just trying to get an idea for what I want to do. Sometimes, that's the good thing about this project is it's kind of forcing me to make decisions faster, or at least I hope that will be the end result when I get to the end of 100 days, that I'll be able to kind of, make some of these decisions faster, so I'm not just spending so much time. But there are days where, most of what I get done is just laying down the collage or whatever. So on this day, I'm just trying to go through here and pick out the little pieces and things that I want to use. And you can see this base that I'm working on is like a scrapbook paper base. I was just trying to use it up. So I have put some Dina Wakley gesso down on this little deli paper here, and I'm just going to try to go around some of these areas where like the papers kind of meet, just to try to blend them together instead of doing a wash over the whole thing. I didn't want to lose all of the color this time. And then I had these stickers. These are just clear stickers from an old kit from By the Will for God, and I just wanted to use them up. So they've just kind of been sitting on my desk, and they're just so beautiful. So I decided to use a couple of those here on this card as my background. And then I just really felt like I wanted to put something here, and what I really was looking for in my stash, and I just couldn't get my hands on it, was a bird. For some reason, I just wanted to put a bird on this card. And so you can see I'm like thinking and trying to find a bird. I found one on this little card, but it was just the wrong size and scale. So I spend way more time than I should have. And so I think, well, I'll just scrap that and pull out this bingo card and do something. And I liked the bingo card and the train together, but I didn't like them on this card. So I end up, looking through some of these like clear, they're almost like vellum stamp type ephemera pieces that I had, and I found a dragonfly one. So I just went with that because I was literally running out of time. I had spent too much time kind of looking for that bird. So what I did is I have this like handmade paper, and this was just in my little scrap bucket here. And so I adhered that vellum sticker onto that, which is kind of a neutral background. Otherwise it would have gotten lost on there. And then I just tore it around the edges, and then I inked it up with some archival ink, and then I glued it down, and that was pretty much it for this day. I didn't have time to do anything else. I would have liked to put a sentiment on there, but... And then this is day 31, and I just came back to my desk and had all the stuff just still sitting out. And so I decided to make this card. I had these old playing cards that were my dad's, and this whole kind of card, because the background was already done, went really, really fast. But this whole card, this was kind of done around, just coincidentally, around the time of the kind of anniversary of my father's passing. And so I was kind of just thinking of him. And when I was a little girl, we always played games, and he always played cards with us. And it's just a lot of, holidays and memories and so much stuff with just playing cards and games with my dad. And these cards that I have here were a set of his cards. And he worked for the railroad. And so that's like all of this card is a really simple card in what I'm gluing down or whatever, but it all is very specific and just sentimental to me. Like, this card actually has a lot of meaning for me specifically because of the little the little train, and then in fact that little black train on there was a little die cut. When my dad retired from the railroad, I made the invitations to his party, and so I had this little punch that made these trains. So anyway, you probably didn't need to know all that, but that's how this card came together. It was just all kind of, you know, just thinking of my dad, and using all of those things. And so this card literally came together in just a few minutes because, like I said, the background was already done, and I had already pulled out those two pieces that I really liked, that bingo card and that train, together. So the rest was just kind of gluing everything down. So this was day 31, and it just went really fast, and I just drew a little heart, a white heart on that train. And then because this went so fast, I was able to actually use my my alpha numbers that I have been trying to use on the back of these cards. This is the Matthews alpha, or Matthews numbers from By the Will for God. I love this stamp set, and I would like to get them on the back of each card, but like I said, I'm giving myself 15 minutes, so sometimes it doesn't get on there. But anyway, moving on, this is day 32. Again, this is one that's got a background that's already done, and I have been trying to use up my stash, and so I have this little folder full of this ephemera that is from Simple Stories, and it's called, I think it's called Vintage Traveler. This was one of my favorite sets of theirs, and so I've kind of been hoarding all these pieces. I'm just getting down to a few that, without the rest of the collection anymore, they're kind of not making sense. So I wanted to kind of include some of my favorite pieces here on this little card if I can. And so I end up actually spending a lot of time kind of fiddling around with the placement of everything on here. So I have this map page, and it was actually from an atlas. And so I just tore a little part of that off, and I'm going to glue that down in a couple places just to give the background a little bit more interest, and to give me a place to kind of anchor some of these other pieces that I want to put on here. It's a really small card that I'm doing today. It's like probably an inch or so shorter than some of the other cards that I have, so I don't have as much space, so I have to kind of be more picky, I guess, about where I'm putting the things. So I just kind of created a couple little clusters, and then added that little the little airplane flying off of the top, and that is basically gonna be everything. So I'm just kind of gluing everything down. I have the little stamps, just trying to add some interesting colors, and make a little cluster down here at the bottom. And then I decided to add the word explore, just for a little sentiment. So then I'm just going to glue all of these pieces down. Again, this was another really quick card, really simple card, because the background was already done. So when I'm using ones where I just like the background the way that it is, it just gives me more time. And sometimes I don't always have all of the 15 minutes to spend, or even, sometimes you just hit a creative wall, and you're, so this was just a really easy way to get some of my favorite ephemera onto a card. And then again, I had the time to use my Matthews numbers here to indicate the day on the back, and I'm just using archival ink for that on the back to put number 32. Now, day 33, I'm starting out with this is like a background paper that was made from scrapbook paper. And for whatever reason this day, I was just feeling very collage-y. I just wanted to glue some stuff down. And I had no rhyme or reason, and so I'm trying to get through my little scrap pile of stuff that's just sitting on my desk. And so I start going through there, and I have this handmade paper that I just glued down, this blue paper, and it's beautiful. But the more I looked at it on here, I was not liking it. And so I'm trying to keep everything fairly neutral, I think, with the exception of this blue up here. But once I start gluing everything down, I'm just really not liking it, that paper. But it's glued down. There's no getting it up. You can see I'm trying to kind of work with it. I'm using Tim Holtz Distress Collage Medium. And so, once you get your stuff down, you really don't have a lot of time to kind of work with it like some other collage mediums or matte mediums. You have a little bit more time. This distress one, you really just don't. And so I decided, instead of just kind of dealing with it, I was just going to basically cover it up. So it's just going to be a layer in there, and this card ends up just getting kind of thick. And so I'm going through my pile, and then I found one of the Artist Almanac cards, and that worked really perfectly with kind of the neutral colors and stuff. And so I just tore off the date part, and I glued that down, and that just covered a good section of that middle, and I was able to cover up that blue paper. That I love that blue paper. It just wasn't working for me on this particular card. It was just too much, too intense, and the texture and the color and stuff of it changed just a little bit with the matte medium. So I just really I wasn't loving it. So anyway, at this point, I'm just trying to find, I feel like I need something over here on the bottom right side. So I'm just tearing, some of these are like, I have music paper on here. I have that Artist Almanac collage piece. I have some handmade papers. That one blue paper up at the top is actually like some scrapbook paper. So I just have a lot of different textures and things on here. And so I'm just going to go through and dry this really quickly and then go trim off the edges. For me, I know some people when they're collaging, they, work right to the edge. Sometimes for me, it's easier to just work off the edge and then trim it down. That way I just don't have to think about it quite so much. So I'm trying to figure out now what I want to do basically with this card, because really the only thing in my head at that moment was like collaging. And so I went ahead and I needed to dry this a little bit more, and I pulled out one of these Tim Holtz flashcard, and this one says play on it, and then I thought it would be fun to have something else on there. So I went ahead and punched my holes in there. I went around with some archival ink in, this is ground espresso. I went around that little flashcard as well, or the dictionary definition word, whatever. I can't remember the name of those cards, I'm sorry. And then I went back to an old ephemera pack of Tim Holtz that has some like just tickets in it. And so I just pulled out a couple. I really only have like a couple minutes here right at the end, so I'm really having to hurry to get everything kind of distressed, and I don't even really have time to glue everything. Literally have time right as I put my staple in, my clock went off. So here are some close-up pictures, and if you liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. That just helps other people find my channel. And until next time, bye.